I was just reading up about Coca Cola. They've unveiled a new marketing model, and I wanted to chat about what we can learn and what we can take from that. Because Coca Cola is, I don't know, have you seen their new cans, Kelsey?
Yeah, I was just having a look. I think I had noticed there were some new cans recently with the larger logo.
And
Is
we
that,
talked about, yeah, the larger logo and was it Real Magic? I think it was
yeah, the ad
um,
campaign.
the ad campaign. Yeah, so that was their first new like global branding platform since 2016,
Was that the Share a
and
Coke campaign, that one? 2016?
probably
Hmm.
probably was it wasn't it older than that? Share a Coke?
I feel
I
like it
might be
was before that,
mistaken.
but that is also
But it was
5
probably not
years
a
ago.
global. Yeah, but it may not have been a global platform at that point. It might have been like
Yeah.
a to the Australian market, for example, because I
Hmm.
reckon it was definitely an Aussie thing first. Because I remember seeing a lot of Aussie terms like share a coke with, and they were very Aussie,
Yeah.
at least initially. But what they've done now is they've talked about changing how they change. So Coca Cola is interesting, right? Because they've got a product that hasn't really changed. Yes, they've experimented with different types, like different SKUs with no sugar and zero, which I still don't understand the difference between.
Yeah.
I do, but they're still weird, I think. But what they're now trying to do, and so they keep pushing this boundary, right? Like Coke, McDonald's, even the classics like Nike, like their core product offering hasn't really changed. At the end of the day, it's the same thing, and day in day out, it's going to be the same thing, and anyone else can effectively like deliver the same thing. So what they rely on to keep going and keep dominating their market is good marketing,
Hmm.
because you remove the marketing and it's just a commodity product. But what they've talked about is looking at, and their model is looking at converting from singular separate sort of experiences with the Coca-Cola brand to a cohesive approach where you just have like a Coca-Cola experience across all your various touch points. Now, we call this all sorts of different things, but I think as small businesses, as well as medium businesses, if you're listening to this, people often just market on Facebook, and they just think about, okay, what can the Facebook ads look like, when Coca-Cola is taking an approach that is not easy to execute, but I would say it's easier when you're smaller. But they're taking an approach where all touch points have a similar language, so and also sort of diversifying your platforms. And it doesn't mean that you need to spend more money. Obviously, it's easy for Coca-Cola because money probably wouldn't be a problem for them. I think they've got 4 or 5 of the world's biggest marketing agencies involved, like basically the who's who, which
Yeah.
which they can afford. But anyone listening at a smaller scale can still do the same thing. You just got to be smart with it all. Like use retargeting, use the tools available to sort of create an experience that is consistent across different platforms, rather than just putting your eggs in one basket, or rather than just sending one message through one channel. They're also talking about the fact that they can really make use of all the data that's out there, all the real time information that they receive. Now, last week I mentioned that I bought a website. I think it was last week or the week before.
Hmm.
And one thing that I've been doing at that is we get real time information. Like I know today versus tomorrow versus the next day how many visitors are coming through, how many pages they're looking at, how much ad revenue is being generated. And that's at such a small scale, but Coca-Cola is doing it at a bigger scale. It's just again a reminder to say, look at those things and learn how to tweak. So I can. There was a time when we'd have to wait a week for that previous information. In fact, one of the platforms that I use on that website has an up to 7 day delay, but I can still use, if you're smart about it, you can use the tools that have real time feedback to really optimize how you're doing what you're doing and how you're delivering that information. So, um, Yeah, that's that. I just wanted to mention that and sort of look at that. As you go out there and when you hear Coca-Cola ads and when you see Coca-Cola cans, just think about those various touch points and when you see it. Is it in a bus shelter and then does it pop up on your phone, or how is that happening, and how can you potentially apply that to your business as well? Does that all sort of make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a classic lesson of looking at the larger companies, seeing what they're doing, and trying to apply it in a smaller scale. It's the easiest way to figure out how to do your business in a good way that's proven, and yeah, just testing out different things without needing to come up with all your own strategies, really.